What if a massive explosion, many times the size of Earth, is building right above our heads? Hey everyone, this is Future Files channel, and I have a breaking update for you. Right now, something remarkable is happening on the surface of our sun. A sunspot group known as 4114 is rapidly growing in size and strength, and it's rotating directly into what we call the Earth strike zone. This is the region of the sun that, if a major solar flare or coronal mass ejection occurs, it would send a high-energy plasma blast straight toward Earth. Now, why does this matter? Because 4114 isn't just growing, it's pulsing with energy. And based on the data, it's showing signs of imminent eruption. These solar flares aren't just beautiful bursts of light, they're massive electromagnetic explosions, far larger than our planet, capable of launching superheated plasma, known as coronal mass ejections, into space at speeds of over 1,000,000 miles per hour. And when one of these strikes Earth, it triggers what we call a solar storm, a disturbance in our planet's magnetic field that can lead to geomagnetic disruptions, satellite interference, and even power grid failures. But there's more. Over the past 36 hours, satellite imagery has captured a surge in electrical and magnetic activity across the sun's surface. You can literally see the solar surface start to spit fire, as we call it. Sunspot 4114 is expanding fast, and it's not alone. Sunspot 4105, located near the sun's western limb, has already released an M6.8 class flare, a strong burst of solar radiation. And both sunspot groups are now flaring together, almost in sync. This type of behavior, called sympathetic flaring, is rare. It tells us that the entire Earth-facing side of the sun is becoming increasingly unstable. Something big is brewing, and we may only be hours or days away from a major solar event. In this video, I'll walk you through what's happening on the sun right now, what it means for Earth, and why the timing of all this, especially as we head toward a rare planetary alignment, makes this moment even more critical. So stay with me. We're entering an energetic window unlike anything we've seen in recent months. How do you know a solar explosion is coming before it actually happens? The answer lies in the data, and right now, every sign is flashing red. Sunspot Group 4114 isn't just large, it's growing denser, darker, and more magnetically complex, which is exactly what we look for when predicting a major solar flare. Let me show you what I mean. When we look at the 131 angstrom satellite imagery, we see intense UV emissions around 4114. This wavelength captures the hottest and most energized areas of the sun, and for the past 36 hours, those areas have flared up dramatically. Zoom in closer, and you'll notice something else. The X-ray flux baseline, a key indicator of solar flare potential, has been steadily rising for days. Not just spiking occasionally, but building pressure, like a volcano beneath the surface. In fact, we've already seen 3 M-class flares in just the last 24 hours alone, one as strong as M6.8 and the others measuring 2.2 and 1.9. This tells us one thing: the sun is not cooling down, it's heating up. Even more concerning is that sunspot 4114 is now just hours away from entering the Earth direct zone, which means any large eruption from this point forward could launch a coronal mass ejection directly toward us. And it's not just 4114. Other regions, like sunspot 4105, are also active, flaring in tandem with 4114 in a phenomenon called sympathetic flaring. That means these sunspots may be magnetically linked, triggering each other like dominoes in a chain reaction. This kind of coordination across sunspot groups is rare and dangerous. It's the kind of setup we've seen before previous X-class flares, the most intense category of solar explosions, capable of knocking out satellites and radio signals across the globe. And here's something else. As these sunspots erupt, we're also seeing plasma filaments destabilize and eject, signs that the sun's outer magnetic field is under serious stress. All of this paints a clear picture. We are watching the early stages of a solar chain reaction, and with 4114 reaching its most Earth-facing position in the next 24 to 48 hours, we may soon be in the direct path of something powerful. Very powerful. What happens when a storm from the sun hits Earth? It's called a geomagnetic storm, and it's not science fiction. It's a very real space weather event that can disrupt our daily lives in ways most people never realize. Imagine this: a massive cloud of plasma, hot, charged particles traveling at millions of miles per hour, slams into Earth's magnetosphere. The result? A violent reaction in our planet's magnetic field. That's exactly what could happen if Sunspot 4114 unleashes a coronal mass ejection CME in the next 24 to 72 hours. But there's more. Right now, the Earth is already being preconditioned. We just came out of a G2 class geomagnetic storm, moderate in strength but long in duration. The planet's magnetic field is still vibrating from that impact, and that matters. Because when Earth's magnetic field is already disturbed, the next storm, even a moderate one, can hit harder and deeper. On top of that, there's a large coronal hole forming on the sun, a wide-open region in the solar corona that's blasting high-speed solar wind directly toward Earth. These coronal holes aren't explosive like flares, but they unleash a continuous stream of charged particles that can amplify the effects of any incoming CME. In fact, they may even accelerate it, meaning if 4114 erupts, the storm could reach Earth faster than expected and with more intensity. And this isn't a maybe. In the northern hemisphere of the sun, we've already seen plasma filaments launching, magnetic fields twisting, and even a mini coronal hole forming, right above Sunspot Group 4114. This tells us the electromagnetic environment around this sunspot is becoming unstable. And when you combine that with the rising X-ray flux, the recent flare activity, and the Earth's preconditioned state, we have what experts call a perfect solar storm setup. If the flare is large enough, especially an X-class event, we could be looking at possible effects on power grids, satellite communications, GPS systems, airline navigation, and even auroras seen at lower latitudes. The storm doesn't have to destroy anything to be serious. Even minor disruptions in satellites or electric systems can have ripple effects, especially in a world this connected. So the question becomes, are we ready? Because when a solar storm hits, it doesn't knock on the door first. Could the planets themselves be triggering solar chaos? To some, that sounds like astrology. But to geophysicist Stephen Burns and a growing number of researchers, it's a matter of resonance, not superstition. Right now, something rare is unfolding in our solar system. Jupiter, the largest planet in our cosmic neighborhood, is moving into superior conjunction with the Sun. That means it's lining up directly behind the Sun from Earth's perspective. This is no ordinary alignment. In astrology, it's called cazimi, when a planet is said to sit in the heart of the Sun. But in physics, something deeper may be happening. A resonance effect, where the gravitational and electromagnetic energies between celestial bodies become amplified. This critical planetary geometry is clicking into place right now, from mid to late June, the exact window Stefan warned about weeks ago. And what are we seeing? Solar flares, coronal mass ejections, plasma instabilities, rapid growth in Sunspot Group 4114. It's as if the entire solar system is humming in sync, and Earth is caught in the vibration. Some scientists believe these alignments can subtly influence the magnetic balance of the Sun's outer layers, which can, in turn, destabilize sunspot groups, especially those like 4114, already sitting on a knife's edge. And it's not the first time. Looking back at previous solar maximum cycles, Many of the strongest flares and geomagnetic storms have occurred within days of key planetary alignments. It's not a coincidence, it's a pattern, a cosmic rhythm, a celestial drumbeat that has echoed for thousands of years, one that ancient civilizations may have known, and modern science is only beginning to understand. So as we track these flares, these filaments, these coronal holes, we must also watch the sky, not just for what's burning, but for how the planets are dancing. Because when the solar system moves in harmony, the sun often responds with fire. What if solar storms don't just affect satellites, but also our bodies? It may sound unbelievable, but the science is growing, and the evidence is mounting. We often talk about solar flares disrupting satellites, power grids, and GPS. But what we rarely discuss is how these cosmic events affect us, human beings, living, breathing, electrical systems in motion. Let's start with this. The human body is not just biological, it's also electromagnetic. Our hearts beat through electrical impulses. Our brains fire with neuroelectric signals. Our cells communicate using subtle fields that modern medicine is only beginning to map. Now imagine this delicate system being bathed in a solar storm, a wave of charged particles, electromagnetic radiation, and geomagnetic turbulence. For some, the effects are subtle, but for others, those who are electromagnetically sensitive, the symptoms can be surprisingly real. Headaches, heart palpitations, sleep disturbances, anxiety or mood swings, fatigue or overstimulation, joint pain and inflammation. Sound familiar? In the hours leading up to geomagnetic storms, hospitals have reported spikes in ER visits. Mood disorders intensify. Nervous systems become overstimulated. People feel off, and they don't know why. And here's the connection. As the solar wind intensifies, so does the disturbance in Earth's magnetic field. The Schumann resonance, Earth's natural heartbeat, can spike or fluctuate. And when that rhythm shifts, sensitive organisms, including us, may react. Right now, the solar wind is climbing above 500 kilometers per second. Plasma density remains high, and another coronal hole is about to connect directly with Earth's magnetic field. In other words, the pressure is rising. So what can we do? We ground ourselves. Literally. Go outside. Walk barefoot on the earth. This simple act, called earthing, helps regulate your body's electric charge. Eat clean, drink pure water, breathe deeply. Do breathwork exercises that engage the parasympathetic nervous system to calm the storm inside as the storm builds outside. Because when cosmic energy intensifies, self-regulation becomes survival. We are not separate from the earth. We are not separate from the sun. We are part of this great, living, energetic system. And now, more than ever, we must remember that connection, because what happens above always affects what happens within. What if this isn't just a solar event, but a cosmic warning? The sun is stirring. The planets are aligning, Earth's electromagnetic shield is being tested, and you are being called to awaken. Right now, Sunspot Group 4114 is rapidly growing. It's flaring, destabilizing, and positioned directly in the Earth strike zone. The conditions for a massive solar storm are perfectly aligned, and the next 24 to 72 hours could be critical. But this isn't just about radiation, or magnetospheres, or even solar winds. This is about awareness, because the cosmos is speaking, and it's asking humanity one thing: will you pay attention? We've seen this pattern before. When the sun erupts, Earth quakes, people stir, nervous systems flare, civilizations feel the pressure, and yet most still sleep, disconnected, distracted, unaware of the energetic web that binds all things together. But you, if you're still here, still listening, you're one of the few paying attention. So here's what you can do now. Ground yourself. Connect to the earth. Nature is your stabilizer. Cleanse your body. Pure water, whole foods, rest, recharge, calm your mind, breathe deeply, Practice stillness. Get ahead of the wave before it crashes. Align your spirit. Use this moment not just to survive, but to tune in, to feel what's shifting, and prepare. Because what happens in the sky isn't separate from what's happening within. A storm is coming, maybe from the sun, maybe from within society, or maybe both, intertwined in a cosmic rhythm. So stay alert, stay calm, stay grounded, and most of all, stay aware. If this message resonated with you, now is the time to act. Like this video, it helps this truth reach others. Subscribe so you don't miss urgent updates like this. Comment below. Let me know if you've felt the shift and where you're tuning in from. Share this video, especially with those who are sensitive or spiritually awake. Together, we are building a watchful community, one that sees the signs, hears the resonance, and responds with awareness, not fear. Thank you for watching. Until the next burst from the sun, stay safe, stay conscious, and stay connected.